tell me how many kids we're serving? That's a pretty reasonable question. She said, well, we haven't been collecting that data. And so I thought I was going to find this SOA until I get some data. So she went back to the NCA. They went back and forth for several weeks, and she came back and she said, well, we think maybe 25, but we're not quite sure if these are duplicate counts. Yeah. I said, are you kidding me? For $1 million, I can fly a neurologist on a private jet to do home visits for cheaper. So we canceled the program and we decided to completely revamp it. Now, for many of the kids with complex seizure disorders, especially if they're living in rural communities, underserved communities, that they often have difficulty accessing quality services because the primary care providers in the local communities don't feel comfortable managing complex seizure disorders that the nearest specialist may be hundreds of miles away. So what you really need to do is to develop a co-management relationship between the local primary care provider and the specialist, and that's what some of our grantees decided to do, and they're using telehealth teleeducation technologies to expand the reach of the program. So I'm happy to report that in 2 years, this program went from serving about 25 kids a year to serving about 9,000 kids over the last 2 years. So again, this is just an example of how we're transforming many of our programs, including programs for children with special health needs, that it's really not enough for our program to just offer quality services to people who can access our program. And we're really working hard to expand the reach of our program to those who traditionally didn't locked out of the services, to move our nation closer to that vision that no matter where you live in this country, and no matter the family you're born into or the color of your skin, you should have access to the same high-quality services as anybody else. You should have access to early screening, early diagnosis, early intervention, access to medical home and community system care where the family is front and center in providing that care. So we've been working hard at making change happen over the last 4 years. The question is, are we doing enough? What more can we do? How can we do better? So in time remaining, I'm going to offer up a few of my own ideas. I'm also going to take advantage of the fact that I do have an audience of some of the best advisors in the country. So I'm going to use you as a sounding board. I appreciate any feedback, any suggestion that you have for these ideas, and I'll share with you. So let me just start with this framework developed by two of my biggest heroes in mental health, Julius Richmond of Head Start and Mel Kolachek of the Kolachek Index for Prenatal Care Utilization. Now they say to bring about real change, you need three things: knowledge base, social strategy, and political will. I think to bring about real change in mental health, we really need to do all three. So let's start with growing MCH knowledge base. And thanks to the great work that you're doing, many people like you are doing around the country, the MCH knowledge base has been vastly expanding over the last decade. Now, advances in neuroscience, in molecular biology, in epigenetics have offered new insights, such as new approaches to improving mental health in this country. But I do worry that if we keep doing more of the same, I'm not sure how much we're going to be able to really expand the MCH knowledge base to really move the needle in MCH within this decade. And that's because so much of the current research, so many of the new discoveries are still happening in silos. Institutional silos, disciplinary silos, population geographic silos. We slice and dice MCH, ages and stages, diseases and body parts, that we miss a great deal of opportunities for collaborative and innovation. So if we really want to accelerate knowledge creation, knowledge generation, and MCH, we got to bust out of these silos. Right? We really need to be taking a more integrated approach, similar to the one that was recommended by the National Research Council, the 10 thematic priorities for research investment, to take a whole child, whole family, whole community approach to solve some of the biggest problems in MCH, from neurons to neighborhood, from genes to society, across islands, across the means, across the life force. Now, this would take a more transdisciplinary approach than how research is currently funded and conducted. And so the whole idea is bringing folks from different disciplines and different backgrounds with different lenses and different tools to help answer some of the biggest questions in MCH. Now, easier said than done, right? It's hard enough to get OBGYNs and pediatricians in the same room, let alone all the non-medical scientists, all the social and behavioral scientists. So how do we create that research ecosystem within the institutions and across the country with all the right supports and reward system in place to promote topics about diversity and interdisciplinarity, which I believe are the two major drivers of innovation. And this isn't just about bringing people from different disciplines to work on different problems. What sets transdisciplinary research apart from interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary research to the level of intellectual innovation? So, for example, in our research network, we bring researchers from different disciplines and different backgrounds from all over the country, and they actually spend their first year developing a common agenda, a common consensus framework, and setting common priorities on things that they want to work on over the next few years. And I'll say one more thing about growing MCH and knowledge base is that if we really want to move the needle in MCH over the next decade, we really have to accelerate translation. That's translation. Now, discovery research has its place, but we can't get stuck on discovery phase. We really need to accelerate translation, and not only from T1 to T2 or bedside to curbside, but also T2 to T3 curbside, from rescue to bedside, but also T2 to T3 from bedside to curbside, and T3 to T4 from curbside to policy to accelerate that translation of research to practice and policy. Now, the other day, I went on a webinar on parental brain changes in the postpartum period. And as I was watching these fMRI images about changes in the parental brain, it struck me in terms of the gap in where the science is versus where our current practice and all the missed opportunities for improving parenting and supporting families when our postpartum mothers still focus so much more on the maternal uterus than on the maternal brain. I think these types of insights that it really shouldn't just come because I happen to log onto a webinar or come and speak at ChildX. That innovation shouldn't just occur by coincidence or happenstance. So how do we engineer more rapid and reliable translation so it doesn't take 17 years for research to change practice? And how do we build a national R&D system in MCH with all the built-in sensors and feedback loops that will help accelerate translation of research to practice and policy? Second, growing social strategy. By that, I mean both clinical intervention as well as community intervention, both individual level intervention as well as population level intervention. And here's where we still need to do a lot more work, especially outside of clinical setting, where most of what we do still don't have a very strong knowledge base or a strong evidence base. And those that do, for example, the Abbotsford or the Harry School or the Elmira Nurse Family home visiting, those that do usually are the evidence base is generated by these large trials where participants are randomized to the intervention and control group, and then you follow the kids for the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and you have to wait 5, 10, 20 years to see if the intervention works. Now, that's still the gold standard, but it's not very nimble. It doesn't allow you to continuously improve and innovate once the standardized intervention has been defined. So the alternative is to take an engineering approach, using both quality improvement as well as collaborative innovation methods. That's like what we're doing with the polling, that allows for more rapid cycle testing, looking at data to see what's working and what's not in real time, making tweaks and fixes and improvements as we go, learning as much from failures as we do from successes, so that we're constantly learning, constantly improving, and constantly innovating. And this improving and innovating really should not take place in silos. Right. And for the points, we created a collaborative space for states to learn from each other, to innovate with each other, to integrate swarm creativity. Our model for the points to share seamlessly and to scale shamelessly. And since we created this collaboratory of 59 states and jurisdictions, all coming together to work on common aims, common strategies, and to continuously innovate, looking at data in real time to drive real time improvement, to build that evidence base as they go. And let me just say one more thing about growing social strategy, is that we just have to get a lot more precise in what we do. Okay. So traditionally, when we evaluate the effectiveness of an intervention, we look at its impact averaged across the study population. Okay. Without looking at who benefited most from the intervention and who benefited not at all. Okay. And the average impact across the study population is statistically better than what we see in the control group, then we declare success, even though the effect may be very modest. And then we scale it up to different populations and different communities, and then we wonder why we don't see the same kind of population level benefits as we saw in the original trial. So what we really need to do, much like what precision medicine is trying to do, to identify which drugs or what dose works best for which patient, in public health, we have to move toward defining which intervention works best for which population under what circumstances. So moving toward precision public health. Now this would require a whole new way of doing these types of intervention research, creating a platform that's nimble enough for us to do rapid cycle testing, to test adjustments, corrections, and enhancements so that we can tailor our intervention for specific population risk, not one size fits all, but design an intervention but more likely to be effective for specific population. And lastly, growing political will. And I'm actually not in the best position to talk about this, talk about political will, because there's a lot of things I can't talk about in my position. But the one thing I can say, and that one thing that we must do in order to create political will, is to demonstrate results and to demonstrate return on investment. And that's why over the last 4 years, anytime one of our 100 or so programs comes up for recompetition, we saw it as an opportunity to improve innovation and form, making sure that each and every single one of our programs is positioned to demonstrate measurable impact to move the needle in MCH. And over the last few years, that's why the work of people like Jim Heckman, who's a Nobel laureate economist, demonstrated that for our nation, we get much greater return on investment if we invest early. Okay? That this body of work has really shaped our national discussion deliberation, policy discussion deliberation, has generated a great deal of bipartisan support for investment in early childhood, including home visiting, child care, and universal pre-K. And let me just say one last thing about growing political will, and that is that we have to get a lot better in telling stories in MCH. Just the stories that reach the heart and not just the head. So, beyond key values and ROIs, beyond evidence-based and performance measures, what is it that we really do in MCH? The answer, we give every child and every family a fair shot at reaching their fullest potential. And that answer has now really struck a chord with a lot of different folks on both sides. That it really resonates with some core American values about individual rights and liberties, about intergenerational mobility and equal opportunity that are deeply embedded in the American dream. So what we have to make sure is that we're actually walking the walk and not talking the talk. So as you talk about innovation over the next couple days, always keep the focus on equity, on health equity. That's Paul Weiss often reminds me that innovations don't always advance equity. Because innovation can also widen disparities as you've got different access to innovation. So again, as we talk about innovations over the next couple days, always keep asking these questions. Innovations for what? Innovations for whom? So giving everyone a fair shot. That's been the story of my bureau over the last 100 years. It's the story of our collective work in NCH. If you think about it, this is the story of our nation. It's a story that I can just read in a book and learn in the classroom. I saw it and lived it, like many of you. Those of you who know my story know that I was born to two immigrant parents without a college education. Because my mom, she actually never went to high school or even middle school. See, my mom was only 11 when her father died, so as the oldest girl in the family, she had to drop out of 5th grade to go work in the factory to also play them. The first home that I was born into, so tiny little apartment on the other side, which has some high pay where families could be into. No running water, no first toilet, health insurance, but there was such thing as health insurance back then. And so whenever you got sick, and I was sick a lot as a child, you never knew how much the doctor or the medicine was going to cost. And my parents sometimes had to make the decision, take buying food, or buying medicine. At one point my mom actually sold her wedding ring to pay for my medicine. So I didn't come from a educated family or a wealthy family. But none of that mattered anymore once we came to this country. It didn't matter because the American dream said that you don't have to be rich to go to the best schools. And it didn't matter because the American dream says that everyone gets a fair shot. No matter where you're from, no matter the family you're born into, or the color of your skin. And it didn't matter because the American dream says that if I just work hard enough and try hard enough, I can give my kids a better life. The kind of life that my mom put in their dream. And now my two daughters, the grandchildren of a girl who had gone out of 5th grade to work in a factory, can now grow up in a